I'll tell you what, this transfer window, it's mind blowing. The stuff that happens whenever you look away, you come back to it. Blimey, something else. And I'm going to share that something else with you today. Welcome to the Bobby Moore stand. My name's Gary, and this is my transfer roundup for Saturday afternoon, which could be completely different by Sunday morning. But anyway, look, let's get on with it. Before we do, please, if you'd be so kind to give this video a like, it really helps me. And if you haven't done so already, please help me on my new journey and subscribe to this channel, the Bobby Moore Stand, here on YouTube. Thanks again to all you lovely people who have subscribed already, who've given me your support and left me some amazing comments. Again, I'll try to respond to all comments. I always have done. Sometimes time permits, sometimes it doesn't. But when it does, I'll always respond to your comments. I'm going to have some more content on here in a couple of weeks as well. It won't just be talking head stuff. But, for now, we've got an important couple of weeks ahead of us. And that is the transfer window. So let's crack on and get on with it. So firstly, Craig Somerville, as we know, has signed already or will sign. It'll be announced later anyway, right? That's relatively old news now in the scheme of things. Great signing that is. Nicholas Fulkrug, he will sign today or tomorrow. He's having his medical today. 3-year deal, reputed to be £22.5 million plus add-ons. So probably around 6 or 7 million higher than expected. But, we've saved money elsewhere that I'll come on to in a minute. In more places than you'd expect, by the way. One more, especially. Dortmund, they weren't really looking to sell the player, so that's always a good sign. He had his nose put out of joint a little bit when they signed a new striker who was clearly going to be ahead of him in the pecking order. So it's understandable, really. He's described this move to West Ham as a dream move. Now, I don't know what that means, whether it's a dream move to West Ham or a dream move to the Premier League, but interested to know more on that, to be honest. Next, we have the Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who that is being done. That should be completed by the early next week. So well in time for some training games and the pre-season friendly against Celta Vigo ahead of the Villa game. So that'll be good. The surprise that came out yesterday, really big surprise, was that we were getting a World Cup winner on a free transfer, a 30-year-old whose medical is happening today for a 2-year deal, and that is Guido Rodriguez. Now, he comes from Real Betis, where I don't know whether he ran his contract down or they didn't offer him a new deal. I don't know. But either way, a very good player and a current Argentina international who, and we love an Argentinian, we love South Americans in general. I think they've got they seem to have a lot in common. They seem to always create a bit of a link with the fans, This guy is, on the face of it, outstanding. He's 30 years old, so really right at the peak of his powers. 2 Copa Americas, 1 World Cup, and loads of domestic cups and various other cups as well. 6'5", right foot. No, not 6'5". He's not that. He's 6.5 foot. What I'm talking about. 6 foot 6 inches. That is. He's not fast, but he's very physical. Huge stamina, strength, aggression. Defending, really strong. Interceptions, awareness and tackling. Ball control is excellent. His vision is really good. Passing accuracy is outstanding. He's got a powerful shot on him as well. Quick paragraph that I stole from someone. It says, when compared to his positional peers across Europe, across Europe's top 5 leagues, Rodriguez ranked in the top 13% for interceptions per 90 minutes and the top 12% for clearances per 90 minutes. There's more evidence of his defensive skills. So this is a really great signing and gives us coverage in the Edison Alvarez position. He could also play alongside Edison Alvarez, which apparently he did several years ago for a brief spell in Mexico. Apparently they're big friends, which is good. Also, apparently, our old friend Pablo Fornals had a little word with Rodriguez and told him what a fantastic club West Ham would be for him to sign. All those wonderful fans and everything. So thanks, Pablo, again. Now this is the big one. If that weren't big enough, this is an even bigger piece of news. Yet another free transfer is being touted. So we get Guido Rodriguez, a World Cup winner, for free on a 2-year deal. No doubt it'll be a signing on fee, whatever. But Sergi Roberto, who's 32 years old and plays for Barcelona, well, he's left Barcelona, his contract was at an end. He is a really intriguing player. He's 5'10". He's pretty fast actually. Excels at passing long and short. He's basically he's like a Paqueta. He can play in that advanced. He's an attacking midfielder. You know, crossing, ball control, dribbling, balance, even defensive awareness. Again, that's what Paqueta's got. Great physicality as well. Again, like Paqueta. So this to me looks like the backup plan for Paqueta, just in case something goes wrong. Not only that, to give us cover for Paqueta, because it looks like we're putting two very good players in every position, and I can't remember if we've ever had that before. Right? This is a double Champions League winner, very similar to Rodri in his playing style. Scored in the dying minutes of the Champions League final last season. I don't know how we're doing this. Again, from that same article, a few paragraphs on him. Roberto tends to perform slightly further forward than Rodriguez. He made 24 appearances for Barcelona last year, registering 6 goal contributions, 3 goals and 3 assists in the process. During his 14 La Liga appearances, Roberto created one big chance, succeeded with 75% of his dribbles, averaged 0.6 key passes per game, and finished the season with a 90% pass success rate. Not bad considering he only averaged 62 minutes per game, right? So that's an incredible reference, isn't it? That is another top class player, albeit it's only for a year or two, but that's another top class player who's going to be ready to go, just like Fulkrug, just like Rodriguez. These are players who can just plug in. They're used to performing at the highest level. They're highly decorated, like in common with the likes of Emerson. Absolutely amazing that we can have the awareness and the speed to jump on these players as soon as it's like a game of whack-a-mole, isn't it? I don't know whether, Tim must have a pager or something. I reckon a little beeper goes off and he gets on a jet somewhere and does his business. But he's clearly got an amazing network that lets him know the situation of a player with a club and their contract situation. Because you go back to Rodriguez for a minute. There was rumours that he was going to Barcelona, right? Would have been a perfect fit, but they changed the manager, and Tim just sensed the opportunity and jumped in there. Now this is what a brilliant director of football does, right? He knows the market. He's got a load of contacts, and he goes out there and he uses those contacts and the information he's given to give the best advantage possible to his club. Moving on to the next one, Jhon Duran. It's still on. We're now offering Villa a loan with an obligation to buy. And that could suit Villa because it means he'd be on loan so he couldn't play against them in a couple of weeks. His agents apparently are getting very, very desperate for this move to West Ham. But we could make him wait until January. And that might suit us because Villa might be even more desperate. Or they might be desperate, let alone his agents by then. And bearing in mind the mindset of Jhon Duran and what he's like when he doesn't get played, if he came in and he was number 2 to Fulkrug, I don't think that's going to suit him very well. However, this is part, to my mind, this is part of growing and becoming a bigger club and a more successful club. You've got to have 2 players in every position. We've still got 2 cup competitions to play in this year, domestic. We've got no Europe, I understand that, but you've got to have strength in depth. Otherwise, you just have problems throughout the season. One key injury, like with Paqueta last year, you're shafted, aren't you? Right? Not anymore. That's not going to happen. Right? So Jhon Duran is still very much a possibility. It could happen. Wouldn't surprise me at all. And Tim is just showing that he's mastering the dark arts of finding and signing players. I think we've got, in addition to that, I think Nice have rejected our 30 million offer for their centre half, whose name escapes me right at the moment, but the one that I mentioned in the last show, it will come back to me right at the end, Right, so but we're apparently thinking of going back in. Alternatively, you just know there's going to be another centre back out there, right? So this is, if you're keeping account, 4 signings potentially by early next week, plus another 3 potentially, and they all look really, really promising. that could be a total of, I think, 9 players, or is it 10? I think it's 9 players in through the door with Kilman and Fodringham. There might be a problem. Some people might see a problem with the ages of 31, 30 and 32. I don't see a problem with that because this is Moneyball. This is the theory behind Moneyball. And that is, you don't sign everybody really young as something for the future. You sign players who are going to give you value for money, right? In the coming season, that they can deliver for you in the coming season. Because that is the only season that really matters. You can't plan for next season, can you? You can only plan for what's coming this season. We'll leave planning for next season until next summer, right? And that is how Moneyball works. And you've got to say, 2 free transfers for these highly decorated players. Good God, that is West Ham. Honestly, we could never attract that sort of player on that sort of deal. So credit's got to go to Lopetegui. People want to play for him, and also to Tim for getting us into the position where we can seal these deals, right? It's incredible. But I will do the unlikely as well. And if we do, this is turning into a mind-blowing transfer window. So I must give even, I don't want to do this, right? But I must give Sullivan some credit for actually backing Tim and backing the manager, right? Because he hasn't got in the way this transfer window, right? He hasn't. So, and there's another thing that might be bothering people, and that is, what about hungry youngsters? Well, we've got loads of them, don't forget, right? We need to move out after this Agüed, Souček and JWP, because all they're going to serve as is blockers to the youngsters getting game time, whether it's from the bench, in the cup games, whatever, right? They will be largely third choice, I would imagine, in these positions. Potts, Orford, Earthy, Casey, Kadua. But they need to be up the pecking order in those third positions so that when the chances come, and they will come, they can get a chance. And also, you've got to hope that Lopetegui makes much, much better use of his 7 allowable substitutions in a game, because Liverpool and all those teams were throwing kids on left, right and centre last year, and there is nothing wrong with us doing that as well. Why not give them 20 minutes? Why not give them 25 minutes? Whatever. Not all together, but drip feed them in. See how they respond. If they respond well, then next injury, bang, they're in. That is how you bring young players into this environment. As long as they're part of the squad, they're travelling with the squad, they're on the bench, that's all good as far as I'm concerned. One thing's sure, the good ones will get their chance. They will get their chance. But look, we got Potts, Orford, Earthy, Casey, Kadua. That is a lot of young talent there, and there's even more. There's even more to come as Skulls as well, right? It's a massive amount of talent. So big game tonight. That's all the transfer news, by the way. As if you need any more than that. That's more than enough for a Saturday afternoon. But big game tonight. When I say big, medium game tonight against Crystal Palace in Tampa. I'm going to stay up. I'm going to give it another go like I did last week. I'm going to stay up. If there's a sudden, downpour and storm over in Tampa, then I'm going to go to bed. But otherwise, I think it kicks off at 12:30. So I'm kind of interested to see what he does, because what I'd like to see is a bit more evidence than I saw last week of Lopetegui's system getting understood and put in place by the players. What I don't want to see really is what I consider the players who are going to be moving out in Souček, in JWP, to be starting the first half and then swapping the whole team around the second half. Having said that, I don't really care. It's just a preference. I don't care. Nothing matters really, except we get the players we need in the next week and or two, and we do all of the housekeeping of the squad that we needed. Then I think Tim and Loppy, well, Tim especially, will then deserve a holiday, to be honest. To have taken that squad from where it was to deliver something like this is truly an outstanding achievement by someone who's looking like the real deal, isn't he? Let's face it. And I must admit, I've got a funny feeling Loppy's going to use these resources to the best of their ability. And I'm starting to feel Europe coming on. Ooh, don't get too excited, Gary. Anyway, look, that's me done. I shall see you as soon as something changes. Until then, see you soon. Oh, by the way, before I go, please subscribe. Please subscribe. You know you want to. If you haven't, please subscribe. Anyway, see you soon. Come on, you irons.